Namaskar, warm greetings to each one of you from DELNET Developing Library Network. It's indeed a profound privilege and honor to have with us today this afternoon the distinguished speaker of today's webinar, Dr. M.G. Sreekumar ji, the Director Libraries, Geo Institute. It's a pleasure and privilege for us to have you with us today. Dr. Sreekumar ji, thank you so very much for acceding to our request and being there with us. It's a profound honor and privilege for DELNET and for each one of us, the library and information science professionals who are there today on this platform. We welcome you to today's webinar session. Esteemed librarians, library and information science professionals, the HODs, researchers and scholars, students, DELNET officials at New Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Pune, ladies and gentlemen, I, Sangeeta Kaul, on behalf of DELNET, Developing Library Network, New Delhi, India, extends a very warm, hearty welcome to each one of you for joining us today from various parts of India and many other countries, including from Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE, to today's webinar session entitled Enabling Innovation in 21st Century Institutions, the Tech Stack Strategies for Libraries, which will shortly be delivered by our distinguished speaker, Dr. M.G. Sreekumar ji. We have immense pleasure once again in welcoming our distinguished, experienced speaker who has a great standing, in the field of library and information sciences. It's a profound privilege once again to welcome Dr. Sreekumar today, and it's always so wonderful to have you with us. You have always been, right from the very inception of DELNET, Dr. Sreekumar has been extending outstanding support to DELNET for its activities, and we can't really thank him enough, for the enormous support. Immense honor and privilege in introducing you all to Dr. M.G. Sreekumar ji, who is a part of the leadership at Geo Institute, providing strategic direction, vision, perspectives, and services in building a state-of-the-art library. Dr. Sreekumar was an adjunct professor in humanities and liberal arts in management at Indian Institute of Management in Kozhikode. He was also the Chief Information Officer of IIMK. He has led the library and learning resources team at Indian Institute of Management Kozhikode to bag the first Wiley Award 2015 for IIM Kozhikode for digitally transformed academic library in India. Dr. Sreekumar was the chief architect of the Indian Business Museum at IIMK, which was inaugurated and dedicated to the nation in 2013. Dr. Sreekumar was also awarded the prestigious Ratan Tata Scholarship to Harvard University, Harvard Business School, and Harvard South Asia Institute for advanced research in Indian business history. He's a fellow of the South Asian Institute of Harvard University. All of us are fully aware with the fact that no one else other than him, has been the most, not only the deserving, but yes, he has been, because of his outstanding contributions, has been able to get, these prestigious awards and recognitions. Dr. Sreekumar also serves on the editorial boards of several national and international journals on digital libraries and information sciences. He's also a peer reviewer and referee to some of the reputed and indexed journals. He's a serving member of the academic advisory boards of EBSCO Information Services USA, the Cambridge University Press UK Global Board, and the South Asia Board, and a member of the advisory board of Princeton University Press. Dr. Sreekumar is a Fulbright Scholar, Library and Information Sciences, and did his fellowship at the University of Maryland and at NIH in USA. Profound honor and privilege to have you with us, Dr. Sreekumar, today with us. And thank you so very much for sparing your time, for giving us, your time. And it is indeed a profound honor for everyone, right from organizers, DELNET, to everyone who is there today. And we really look forward, to getting benefited from your vast experience, that you hold with you. And it's indeed a great moment for us to welcome you once again. And I would now like to request you that if you may just kindly accept our invite to be the presenter and to have this screen sharing. May we request you if we can have it in the slide mode?
Can you see this?
Yeah, but in the slide mode, because it's, can we have it in the slide mode, the full screen? Because it's not showing in the full screen. Yes, we can have it, and perfect.
Is it now? Oh.
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Over to you, Dr. Sri. Oh, no, it's back again. It's back again. Yes, this is perfect. This is perfect. Yes.
Okay, okay, very good. Let me just, get my presentation again. No?
But we are able to see you, see the screen well.
But I cannot see the screen.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problems.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, very much. Yes. This is perfect, yes.
Okay, but it's a little bit of. You can see the screen now, isn't it?
Yeah, very much, yes, Dr. Sri. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, very much.
Okay. Yeah. So thanks a lot, Dr. Sangeeta. At the outset, I would like to express my sincere thanks to DELNET and the DELNET community, and my sincere thanks to all the participants of this webinar. So we are actually, the topic I have selected for today's talk is actually enabling innovation in 21st century institutions. So the actual discussion is centering around the tech stack strategies for libraries. So we need to, prepare our institutions for meeting the requirements of the day's challenges, and our technology has to be chosen very carefully so that it stands the test of time and it is able to meet the challenges of the 21st century requirements. So let us now take a look at the imperatives for the post-COVID era for the libraries. And as we all know, the technology is, we are living in a world where the whole world is changing and evolving. And the user behavior is also, never compromising, and it is so much going increasing mode. They are very, very demanding, and the technology has got tremendous impact, and that is evidenced from every walk of life, as you can see that, and it is applicable to libraries also. And it's not about the gadgets or the the interfaces that we provide. It's all about the immediacy, the relevance, and the effect that these systems are able to make. And then there is abundance of information, as well as there is a glut of information. So there was a time when there was a scarcity of information, and then there was attention span was very high. With the abundance of information, with the unprecedented dispatch of information which is coming to the whole domain of knowledge, it's very difficult for the libraries and information professionals, to grapple with the situation. So that is another thing which we'll have to. So there's a dire need for transformation. We need to transform, especially we need to digitally transform so that we are able to get the kind of efficiency, effectiveness, and agility and resilience to our systems. That's very, very important. So, the concept of copyright is also undergoing tremendous change in these days. And it is actually earlier days actually, the library was owning a lot of things when they were buying, procuring things for the library. But nowadays, it's not so. It's absolutely entirely different. and you have to have a licensing only. So the word copyright is to be taken in a different context altogether. And it is time for us to now put more value on the community than being conservative or being very rigid on our rules and our processes and systems. So I think we need to put more value on the community. And then we need to push the envelope of opportunities. We need to be very, entrepreneurial, in nature, and we need to be self-reliant in terms of our financial situations. And it's not an easy task. I mean, but it is quite sure that library fraternity is quite enterprising. They can be very well be able to be entrepreneurial. So that's very important. So the entrepreneurial endeavors of the library can be very well pushed, and that is something that I think all of us will have to take it into consideration.
I just request all of you, just kindly bear with us. I believe we have lost a link with Dr. Sreekumar right now. Requesting you, please kindly bear with us. There seems to have some network issue which has happened. Just kindly bear with us. We are just going to, contact, I believe, Dr. Sreekumar has to re-log in into the system perhaps, because it looks that the net connectivity at his end has been impacted. Just allow us a little time, please remain online. Just allow us a little time to get connected, in fact, with him, because we sincerely regret. Just kindly be there. We request you, this does happen, means in the online sessions at times, the most unexpected things they happen. And it looks like, that there is, yes, Dr. Sreekumar is back. And yes,
When did I miss you?
Yeah, no issues. Does happen in the online, at times. So this is highly something which happens, disruptive technology. That's why we call it as disruptive. It brings in a lot much of disruption.
Can you see my screen now?
We can see, but Sri, you have to put it in the slide show, because it's the full screen. The full screen, we can have it. Yeah, the full screen. Can we have? Perfect. Yes, yes.
Okay, so now let me just draw your attention to the Tech Trends 2024 by IEEE. They are a very interesting report they have published as back as 2020 by the STM group. They are saying that actually the Gen Z, the DG native users, we should focus on them. Actually, any service for that. This is not applicable to library science only. This is applicable to all the domains, whether it is academic institutions, whether it is workspace, or whether it is labs, or it's very clear. You need to connect all the dots if you want to be retaining our Gen Z customers. You need to give them every freedom, because they're very demanding, unprecedentedly demanding. So they say that let me do it my way, treat me as a diginative, show me I can trust you, prove the research integrity to me so that I can be, joining your fraternity and give me control over my data. I need to work on my data, make AI work for me because the way you understand AI may not be the way I understand. So make things easy for me. That is their mind. That is where we have to upgrade our systems to meet their requirements. So actually this is where our most of our colleges are dealing with diginative as that is Gen Z customers. So I think this is something that library fraternity will have to adopt and adapt. So this is very, very important. Now another thing which I would like to mention here is the domo.com, where they say data never sleeps. So this is the social media domain. You see, at every minute of the day, petabytes or zettabytes of information is being pumped into the domain, and it is everything. For example, at every minute some 500 hours of video is being loaded into YouTube, and so many things are happening. So all these things are actually things that we need to, as information professionals, we need to take care of that, because we need to take care of the social media, we need to take care of the open access domain, we need to take up the commercial information domain, and then the big data domain, and all these things. So in this talk, I will be confining my presentation to the what is called the information retrieval discovery kind of environment. I will not be covering anything other than that. Especially, I will not be covering anything on research data management or research supports or AI or machine learning or deep learning or anything of that sort. That is for want of time. So this is exactly the state of affairs of the users now, because they are at a loss, actually. What is called it's a needle haystack game as far as searching for pertinent information is concerned. So I think this is where I think librarians have a very proactive role to in getting filtered, in giving them meaningful, orderly information. That's very, very important. So these are the big questions that I would like to pose before the audience. That is, what will be the future of knowledge? What is the future of pathways to knowledge? What is the future of public technology and community anchor institutions, especially libraries? I mean, the GLAM institutions, the libraries, galleries, archives, and museums. So, and then what is the future of learning spaces? What's the future of attention? Because this is one important factor that is actually concerning almost all of us. That the attention span is getting down, beyond our imaginations now. So what is the future of scholarly communication? Actually, we are dealing with the scholarly communities, we are dealing with the scholarly domain, and then scholarly information management is our actually the responsibility, duty that we are doing, and to what extent we will be in a position to foresee the scholarly communication behavior. And so what is the future of academic and research libraries, to pin down to the exact point? So I think these are big questions which will have to be answered in a futuristic perspective. So I think that is very important. So that's what I was telling. The tech stack strategies for libraries, which is actually from the GLAM's prism, I am looking at it. Okay. So now let us see the metaphor of the library. Now, the library, of course, when we think of the term library, it conjures up a lot of interesting things in our mind. That it can be a very massive building decked up with thousands and lakhs or hundreds of thousands of books. But nowadays, all these libraries are actually digitally transformed, and it cuts through the entire information space of the library. And most interestingly, we are not asking users to come to the library. We are taking the libraries to the users, to their fingertips. So to what extent meaningfully, keeping relevance and context, we are able to bring that our library to the users is actually the success or the failure of the library. So that's very, very important. Now let's see, actually, to be very frank, if you look at the library systems and services in a holistic perspective, it's a very complex mechanism. We do a lot of things in the library in terms of supporting research and teaching and publishing, innovation, etc. We do a lot of workflows. We do in terms of our collection development management and various housekeeping activities. We do a lot of interfaces and relationships for seamless access and retrieval of our data and information discovery. So it can be generally categorized as user experience, business processes, or research and support systems. And now, of late, libraries are providing a lot of innovation activities. So my today's talk will be actually centering around this aspect. To what extent we can bring in a very interesting, innovative, inspiring user experience. So these are the things that we are doing in the library. Knowingly or unknowingly, subconsciously, we are doing a lot of things in the library. So this is what I would like to bring to your attention. So looking at the current trends that has been happening during the past 2 decades in the domain of library information field, so I feel the empowering mantras for us is actually to be embracing open science, open research, open data, open access, open source, open systems, open standards, open formats, open technologies. Actually, these are the things that can enable us, empower us, being in the forefront of library systems and services. So that's very, very important. And let's see the evolution of information discovery in libraries. Actually, as I was mentioning, the context of information use and creation has been changed. Now people are actually the end user is empowered like anything, enabled to like anything. They have access to almost all sorts of information that they want. So there is a challenge here. For example, there can be a lot of disintermediation that is happening. So there was a time when people were looking at librarians or the help of libraries in getting access to the most relevant and the contextually relevant content. But it is no more a monopoly of the libraries. They can directly, by eliminating the library or the librarian, they can directly go to the source or the kind of information they want. So the resources versus attention, I was telling you, the attention span and scarcity and abundance. So earlier the workflow of libraries were centering around within the libraries. It went out of the libraries and within the network. Now it is in the whole globe, in the whole internet world. There is no boundaries now. So the retrieval part also has been migrating or graduating to kind of a discovery kind of thing. So let's see what is actually the, so discovery is when it is happening within the library, it was institution within the institution. When it went out of the institution, went into the network level, we tell this as a web scale, kind of discovery. So that is what is actually the most interesting thing. And there is the diverse between discovery and delivery now, because discovery can be many ways, or it can be cutting across of the silos. But now delivery is the most important thing. Delivery can be disconnected, de-linked from the discovery part. So what is important is actually to see the seamless mobility of the output data through different amazing apps and gadgets. So the functionality of information channeling is actually disembedded from websites and re-embedded in very a number of devices with a discrete experiences. And also the attention is shifting from metadata to the full text, free sensors and the discovery layers, which makes them seamless and effortless to users. So with all these things, now we see that people are, users are going with the Google, or they may be tomorrow going with something else, maybe Chat GPT or whatever. So there will be always something or the other, some interface or the other that will emerge to cope with the complexities of the dynamics of the information space. So to what extent we as information professionals will be in a position to retain the community by keeping the relevance and context. I mean, the usage relevance and context is something that I think as information professionals we need to. So there's no point in saying that Google is a is a challenge. Google is not at all a challenge, not at all a competitor. It is to be seen, all these systems to be seen as friendships. So we need to be befriending with these kinds of systems. That's exactly what. But they may not, even if they go to Google, they may not be able to get the most relevant information that the library will be able to provide, because we, very meticulously curate information. We select and curate information. We put them into meaningful repositories and information retrieval systems, and we give them a very interesting context and relevance and meaning. So that is where the library's interesting role is important. Now we can see how we have been graduating from various traditional systems, from the traditional manual systems to the automated indoor systems to the efficient and flexible digital libraries, archives, repositories, and e-resource management systems, etc. And you can see that we have been using a number of technologies, systems, and standards and formats to meet those requirements, which are required for each of these genres of information systems. Because as the technology was improving every 5 years or every 3 years, every decade, we have been migrating from new technology to the new technologies to meet the challenges. Now we can see the resource discovery tools, how according to the time how we have changed, and it came to federated search engines in between. So where they have used a lot of connectors to connect to the different distributed databases, and then using the best kind of protocols or communication devices, and then bring those results in real time, and then put it in a kind of relevancy order. And then they were having their own problems or kind of challenges, but then came the kind of skill discovery. We are not stopping here. Now we are talking about concept-based researches. We are talking about image searches. We are talking about searching in the moving images or videos and whatnot. So I think the world of information retrieval or the discovery part of it is actually progressing day by day, and it will have its impact on the library fraternity, because our primary role is actually searching and finding information, and that will continue to be there, but in a newer modes of systems will.
It seems again we have encountered an issue with connection. Just kindly bear with us. There seems to be again some technical net issue at Dr. Sreekumar's end. We do hope that we'll be able to reconnect with him. We sincerely regret this is something unexpected. It does happen in the online platforms when we are doing it, something depending entirely on the technology. So please do kindly bear with us, and we would truly appreciate your patience on this. Just kindly bear with us. Dr. Sreekumar, yes, this is for you. The audio is not right now connected. Dr. Sri, the audio is right now not connected. The audio, it's not showing. The audio device, it's not showing right now. The video is there. Yes, now it has come. Now it has come. Yes.
I'm so sorry. This is.
No. Please, kindly. Yeah.
Can you see me?
Yes, very much.
Okay. So I would like to bring your attention Can you hear me, Dr. Sangeeta?
Yes, Dr. Sri, it's perfectly fine now. It's perfectly fine, yes, kindly.
Okay. So I would like to, I'm sorry for this interruption. Um, So I was telling in 2005, way back in 2005, we have shared our learnings with the world, the seamless aggregation and integration of diverse data streams, essential strategies for building practical digital libraries and electronic information systems. So what we were sharing in that paper with the American Society for Information Science, for which we have won a prize too, and it was published in the International Information and Library Review. We were just telling how these, distributed systems library automation, digital library, repository, etc., can be integrated using, the kind of technologies which is available with the help of OAI, PMH, how the harvesting can be done, how those things. And later, I think Dr. Marshall Breeding is actually a doyen in the field of, information science, who has been writing for decades. And in 2015, he wrote a very classical piece which says that the library service platforms, a maturing center of products. It was published in Library Technology Report. In fact, he is actually the editor of this ALA's Library Technology Reports and also the Library Technology Guides. He's a prolific author, most sought after speaker, and a doyen in the field of information science. And later, I saw another interesting piece from Professor Parthasarathi Mukhopadhyay and team, where they are saying towards unified retrieval system for GLAM institutions in India, designing a prototype for bibliocultural information space. So when we talk about GLAM, that is the galleries, libraries, archives, and museums, we are talking about a bibliocultural information space cutting across all silos. So these silos are actually to be overcome. So I think I would request you to see this paper. This is very meticulously prepared a paper, Professor Parthasarathi and also Marshall Breeding, when they are talking about the new approaches which has to bring together, unify all these, silos into a unified information retrieval discovery platform, which will have a greater impact and experience, a rich experience for the user. That's very, very important. So the workflows of libraries, as I was mentioning, we have library automation. We are using a lot of technologies. We have a lot of softwares available. It can be Koha. But you see, when you are doing this, you have to deal with, you have to grapple with a lot of interesting platforms like it's a lab architecture that is a Linux, Apache, MySQL, Perl, and it uses retrieval engine Zebra. And then we have institutional repositories. We can have DSpace, we can have ePrints, we can have any other digital library software or a institutional repository software. Again, you have to deal with a number of software, systems like AND, Tomcat, Java, JDK, Apache Maven, PostgreSQL, and then the retrieval engine Solar, Apache Solar. So for digital library, you can use Greenstone or you can use UN DSpace, but Greenstone will have the advantage of you putting together or working with ebooks, which is not all that easy with other kind of digital library or institutional repository software. There they are using MG++, they're using ImageMagick, GhostScript. They're using retrieval engine MG++ using Lucene or maybe Solar. So in ERMS you can use Coral. Then again, it is using a LAMP architecture. You have to know PHP also. And then Apache, this one Discovery OneSearch. You can use an open source software WooFind. Again, you have to have all these known to you. So it's very difficult for any particular library or a set of librarians to actually master these 16, 20 kind of software packages to, to achieve all these systems. So we find there are interesting things which can take, we can get rid of many such software systems, but be able to work with a select set of software packages, so that a very interesting, meaningful discovery, information unified search can be achieved. That is very, very important. And the world is moving from ILS systems to the library services platform. The library services platform is entirely different. Brings with it entirely different, approach to programming, and unifying the different silos that are there with most of the genres of information systems available in the legacy systems. So I think with the help of microservices architecture and APIs, the library services platform is actually now revolutionizing the whole domain of information discovery, cross domain discovery services. So that is very, very very, very interesting. So it is all about achieving interoperability, integration, and extensibility of these various already mentioned systems, so that it takes care of all the conceptual, functional, and technological integration of these functionalities, which are very much essential for. I don't want to go into each and everything and in detail because of interest of time. So what I'm trying to tell is that the world is changing. The world of computing is so much progressing. So is the domain of library information science. It is also growing. It is adapting and adopting and adapting to the various new service platforms, library service platforms with the microservices and architectures and the APIs. And you see, I would like to introduce Folio. This is something that it is future of libraries is open. It is actually a consortium initiative by universities, NGOs, and information industry, publishing industry, etc. Especially index data, and EBSCO has joined hands with the Folio Federation. And you can see that it is actually a microservices platform, open source, and it uses APIs, and then it takes care of almost all the solutions that library fraternity is looking for. And the most interesting thing is that as against the module systems, the entire set of activities is taken care of with the help of apps. If I can give you an analogy, it is like the mobile phone which uses apps, and as you like it, you can use it, install it, and install and use it. And if you don't want, you can even delete it, or you don't have to use it. So this is something that is revolutionizing the whole concept of the library, traditional library, housekeeping activities, and information retrieval. There are this is evolving as software. There are a lot of modules to be still installed and configured and run, but most of the things are well taken care of. And then the phase one has looked at these sorts of applications, and the phase two is actually now one by one doing all these kind of activities. There are certain things which I would like to say that one is actually Folio is not actually the LSPs is actually not looking at the OPAC as one of the major modules. So that is something that has to be integrated, or that has to be addressed through discovery platform, which will be connected. For example, now Folio is well connected with experimented with the WooFind discovery platform. So I think that is something that we can work with. So these are the things, places from where you can get all the information about the roadmap requirements, discussions of Folio. So I would request you to have a look at these things. And now coming to the discovery platform, as you can know, these are the various applications and domains available in our libraries. It can be the catalog, it can be the repository, it can be journals, books, databases, and the open source, open access resources, to be very frank. So then with the help of, metadata and the kind of harvesters, you can harvest all the metadata, and it can be consolidated and put it in a central index, and then you can do the search according to your requirement or the user's requirement, and then when you click on the full text, it goes to the a request will go to the publisher, and with the help of link resolvers, the result can be shared. So the vision is actually to give a single point entry to all the, or a single point access to all the content and services of the library to provide a enjoyable search experience. So as far as popular discovery services are concerned, EBSCO, Summon, Primo, and then WorldCat or WhoFind and Blacklight. And in this WhoFind and Blacklight are open source platforms. They have a very good presence in the world. Of course, Blacklight is not that popular in India, but at Geo Institute we are working with Blacklight, so I would like to introduce that also. So we are now going from federated search to web scale discoveries into search box to semantic searches is another thing, concept based searches, and then so many other kind of searches are actually in the. We will be centering around the web scale discovery, and now let me tell you about the Geo Institute Digital Library, JDL. JDL is actually the Geo Institute Digital Library is envisaged as a 21st century, as a digitally robust, research library. So a research library will have a little bit of additional functions than an academic, normal academic library. Because the general understanding about the library is a place people come for acquiring knowledge, for getting information, etc. So the research library will be having additional responsibility or additional agenda to also provide ambience and facilities for creating knowledge, co-creating knowledge. So it will prompt the users when they are in the library or they are using the library digitally also. We will have a lot of interesting avenues for collaborative learning spaces or collaboration, information collaboration, etc. We will have a lot of innovation, enthusing innovation in terms of discussion rooms or innovation labs or entrepreneurial support using what is called such spaces we will provide. So I think this is something that libraries, research libraries are providing. Okay, so that is something that libraries can think of. So the Geo Digital Library is envisaged to provide access to quality education and research resources to the most trusted user of India. As for our founding chairman and chairperson is concerned, there will be 4 pillars: teaching, learning, research, entrepreneurship, and innovation and creativity. So our idea is to bring maybe some 10-15 years down the line to reach out to all the students and colleges and teachers with whatever information we can provide. So it's actually, and we would like to collaborate with almost all the stakeholders in the field, in the education field, as well as in the publishing field, as well as in the GLAM field. So our mission is actually to advance knowledge through research and innovation, support lifelong learning, and inspire curiosity. And our mandate is actually very clear that resource management solutions, discovery solutions, and campus-based mobility. So actually the point which I am trying to drive is that our data, our information, and our knowledge should be very freely available, hassle-freely available to all the users without any problem, irrespective of the gadget what they are using. Our technology and information model is actually a best of breed approach model, which takes care of almost all the what is called the functional and technology conceptual requirements of the library, be it from the library management, the resource management, and access, remote access, or link the server, or the library loan, pattern empowerment, or web scale discovery, or custom discovery, or content management, to all our stakeholders. So this is very, very important. And then if you look at the platform, the technology architecture, all the metadata is taken care of with the help of 2-3 systems like Folio, and on top of that we have put the link resolver, EBSCO, and then our single sign-on system is OpenAthens. So OpenAthens is working as both remote access as well as single sign-on. I will come to that in detail. And then our repository archives, we are using a Hyrax family Haiku repository. With the help of that, all the metadata that is coming from published, what is called commercially published resources, as well as open access resources, as well as the print collection, etc., is taken care of and put into various containers. And we are using EBSCO discovery. On top of that, we are using Blacklight as our custom discovery, and we are using another application, what is called Quick Search, for giving a bento box, retrieval, end user retrieval facility. For special collections, like this library is working on special collections, and 3 special collections we are working on. One is the Indian arts, architecture, culture, history, and heritage, and the other one is 100 years history of Mumbai. And the third project we are working on is actually COVID-19 archive. So these 3 collections, especially these 2 collections, which has got a lot of visual materials, we are using software called Spotlight. Interestingly, Blacklight and Spotlight and Haiku are actually very interesting leading open source projects mentored by or piloted by the Stanford University. And the Geo Institute is being mentored by Dr. Michael Keller, the Vice Provost and University Librarian of Stanford University, and his team, Mr. Tom Kramer. So a team is actually helping us in achieving all this technology architecture implementation, which is under implementation. I will not say we are fully done with the implementation of installation. So we can say that the collections of JDL, which is actually the knowledge or the scholarly information in terms of commercial as well as open access, and the print and electronic resources, whatever we have, the JDLs, the Geo Institute Digital Libraries resources, and the special collections, as I was mentioned, in the 100 years of history of Mumbai, and additional to this, the COVID-19 archives. So you can see that we are using Folio for the library services platform and its various applications, and Haiku for all the archive content, digital asset management, institutional repository management, and then all this metadata is exported with the help of various systems to EBSCO Discovery, and the EBSCO Discovery has got its own content, and it is supplemented with the subject guides. So we are using LibGuides as subject guides. So LibGuides is a commercial application, but it's a SaaS application. So it's a software as a service application. So we don't have to install anything for our thing. And for remote access and single sign-on, we are using OpenAthens. So with the help of Blacklight and Searchworks, of course, it is using Solver Index, and with the help of BentoBox, a very rich user experience is provided to the users. And the same in the case of exhibits, because special collections are their retrieval, user interface UI UX is entirely different than the library's UI UX. So it is a lot of rich visual images are there, or visual content is there. So with the help of the software, what is called Spotlight, we are using that, and it is taken. So we are taking to the library's website, and then from there, the user can navigate to any of their requirements. So as I was mentioning, so we are using different systems, different software applications for different service components. So we are using EDS for web scale discovery, custom discovery, website content management. We are using Drupal for library content curation, subject guides, and navigation. We are using libguides. We are using OpenAthens for single sign-on. Then EBSCO Protect Finder for link resolving, and then Reshare for interlibrary ROM, Folio for library management system, Folio for e-resource management, Hyrax family, Haiku for institutional repository. So as you can see, all sorts of the library's collection contains almost all the genres of information, content categories one can imagine, which is available in any of the libraries in India, academic libraries or research libraries in India. And then we are providing a single window access to the entire set of collections, making use of the kind of technologies and the systems which are available, which is available in almost all of our libraries. We are using libguides, we are using OpenAthens, as I already mentioned. And you can also search access the library using library.institute.edu.in. I will welcome everyone to use this, access this library. Most of the open access content and libguides, etc., is available in the website. Now you can see that very conscious, concerted effort is provided, taken by the library for a centralized or a unified discovery, which information is coming from various silos of functional requirements of the library, be it the library in library service platform, or the library automation, or from the open access resources, or from commercial publishers. So all these are subscribed e-resources, e-journals, or e-books. All these things are channeled, especially meticulously channeled to the library website, and library website becomes a single point access to a huge, vast variety of services to the user community and they can access this 24/7. They can access this anywhere in the world, anytime. So that is very only thing is authentication is required for commercial content. For open access content, there is nothing that is required. So this is the library website. All that you have to do is library.institute.edu.in, and then for authentication, you have to have a library authentication already issued by the library, OpenAthens, and then once you give your request, once you click on a particular full text to be opened, the publisher will be asked to open. Then the publisher will ask the institute whether this person is actually a authorized user of the institution, and then OpenAthens will give the authentication, and it will be resolved. So I think only once this OpenAthens authorization is required, authentication is required, and thereafter they can use it for the entire session. There is no issue. So this is actually the search what is called the EDS interface. Now the new EDS, improved EDS interface, it is very good. We can also use our own interface, what is called SearchWorks. So we have a number of access points. They can have SearchWorks for searching content. They can have EDS for searching content. They can have Quick Find for searching content, and they can have for exhibits, for special collections exhibits, exhibits.institute. I think exhibits also you can all see that. how exhibits has been configured and customized and run. And certain things you will not be able to because they will require authentication. So here is actually a quick find. I will come to this because this is a bento box which is giving. So when we search something, it is giving all the retrieval, I mean, all these xylos into one screen, so that whether it is coming from COVID archives, articles, or catalog, or repository, or exhibits, or guides. So all these are put to, this is what is a bento box experience. Which is not all that familiar with the most of us. So this is very important. So I don't know how this is going to. Okay, so am I? Is it available? Okay.
It's very much, very much.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry for that.
Please.
So SearchWorks will cut through all the information, resources, which are full text resources, print resources, library, website, exhibits, guides, etc. So then comes the SearchWorks. When you are doing a search here, you will get, you can search here. You will get this output, and you can then navigate and drive down. And then this is quick search. Quick find also will cut through all the collections, and it will give this kind of a bento box experience I was telling. So it also gives when you search on quick find, you get a very interesting bento box experience. COVID archives, so much articles, so much catalog, so much repository guides, so much, etc. So these are very interesting user experience it provides. And guides, we have provided about 57 guides. We are running 2 courses at the moment. We are increasing it to 4 courses next year. We may increase it to 8 courses next year, year after next. So for each and every course and its various subtopics, our team is actually working on providing very meaningful guides, and with the course results and whatever course support what we can give. I think subject guides are very important, and I think open source applications are very much available. I think that also can be attempted to, but that is something that. So I have opened one deep learning subject guide and libguide. So it is very, very useful. And then this is actually the exhibits page, and we are working on Hoysala temples at the moment, the South Indian, one of the prominent dynasties, the Hoysala dynasty, and then those temples created by those things. Now we are going to work on another set of temples from Rajasthan in the next 6 months. So actually these kinds of Indian arts, architecture, culture, heritage collections are in progress. We also have a lot of collections donated by what is called the Stanford Library, because the Spotlight is the application we are using here. One of the interesting features of Spotlight is that it has got excellent what is called standards and protocols it is supporting. One of the protocols it is supporting is a IIIF format, international international image interoperability format, which is it is again promoted by some of the US universities and along with the European universities. And this particular format, the IIIF format, allows seamless interoperability and what is called the user experience. The Spotlight has got a built-in image exposing feature that you can what is called zoom in the picture to a very large pixel level, so that you can see the minute level of the kind of carving or the kind of arts that is actually depicted, etched over there. So that's very, very interesting user experience. So we can also use another software, what is called Mirror, embedded in Spotlight. So the IIIF, the Mirror kind of applications can be embedded. We are working on what is called the COVID-19 archive, which will be a single window, resource for almost all the information that is available. So the latest news, the dashboards, the advisories, research documents coming from various publishers as well as centers of excellence in the world like WHO or CDC or NBRC, etc. Then a lot of data sets, a lot of open access resources, clinical trials, infographics. So I think we are working on this in a very concerted manner. So let's see how. We also provide weekly alert services, to our members, and these are available in our LibGuides, so that anybody would like to experience that. We are also providing daily updates, knowledge updates to our students and our faculty members. So I think I will stop here, and I'll be happy to take some questions. Dr. Sangeeta.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Sri, for what an extraordinary talk, an outstanding, talk by you. And you have really taken all of us, the entire, this transformation which is happening in the libraries, right from the changing user behaviors to what the library should do. And then this extraordinary work at Geo Institute that you are being, you're spearheading, the entire work there at the Geo Institute. We have felt very happy, to have seen this truly an innovative talk by you, showing us lot many, and the best part remains that lot many of the open source technologies which are in place. You have highlighted many of them, which you are also implementing with the assistance of Stanford University, and this has truly been inspiring for many of us, and lot many takeaways from the session, because everyone has got not many of cues that they can think about, doing something in their own respective libraries, into their own spaces. And we really compliment, the entire team at Geo Institute also for doing this extraordinary work. And this has truly been an enlightening experience for all of us, to have come to know the enormous work being done, and which you are undertaking, and some of the new things that you have spoken about today, especially of these platforms of Spotlight and Haiku. I think there is a need. We may like to once again come back to you, Dr. Sri, at your convenience, to have some exclusive. I think we need to expose our own Indian library and information science professionals and across, because we are all into the open world and trying to do.
Yeah, one advantage of using I was mentioning, because of interest of time only, I was not going into the details. Actually, if you look at three applications that we are using for three distinct and different, but at the same time to integrate the activities. Let's say the repository software Haiku, which is coming from the Hyrax family. Actually, in the US, there is something called a Samvera project. So if you look at that project, all those interesting projects are actually in that website. So I will say Haiku repository, the Blacklight, which is laid over EDS, the EBSCO Discovery, the custom discovery platform that we are using, Blacklight, and then the Spotlight for special collections, which has got visual documents. So these are all actually promoted by the same group. Okay, the idea is that they are all being powered by almost same technologies. It is called Ruby on Rails technologies, ROR. And it is not the latest technology. It is almost 20 years old, but it has got excellent it has got excellent facilities for web-friendly applications. That is actually the thing. So yeah, that's what we also thought. Actually, it is interesting to explore this as an opportunity. For example, in the case of Folio, Stanford was suggesting something else. But our team, they felt that, okay, Folio is a new software which is actually having an entirely different perspective and outlook, and it is 21st century, a platform. As it was mentioning, it uses microservices approach and the microservices platform, APIs. So I think to change, to keep pace with the changing trends, I think Folio is a real bet. But we have a lot of things to achieve. We are on by one, day by day we are doing that. Yeah, I think Indian libraries can explore this trio. No, the see, interestingly, if you look at the trinity of library, cataloging, it is the entities and its attributes, and the kind of uh, you know uh, 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 relationship that we can build between these entities. So I think that way these softwares are providing excellent opportunities.
Dr. Sri, one question to you before we make the floor open, that holds significance for all the library and information science professionals. When we think about integrating these technologies at a ground level in the libraries, when we talk about, because not everywhere we would be able to have a very state of the art infrastructures or technologies or the people to manage that. How really we can think about bringing that change, how the libraries would ever be able to get the kind of a manpower, because this is, you have a technology world and you have the library world, and creating a bridge in between. And because the library professionals, we are talking more in terms of our own profession and our own professionals, how do you think we will be able to swim through, and bringing, integrating as an integrators of the technology, because we always remain dependent on the technology, on the technologist, on the IT teams, and that remains one of the major deterrent that the libraries themselves or the professionals themselves are not able to do. How do you foresee? What is kind of a skill sets, and what is a solution that you have you can propose for this?
Nobody can answer this question, number one. Number two, I think these days, see, the line of demarcation between an information professional and the IT professional is now thinning. There is no doubt about that. The librarian of the 21st century has to be an IT professional. And the most interesting thing is that the IT professional has to be oriented towards the information science, because they have to have a real appreciation, understanding about the dynamics of the information space. Then only they will be able to come down to our level and understand our requirements and help us implement. Of course, we need the support and help of IT professionals. There is no doubt about that. But then it is actually a cordial, congenial atmosphere that we work together, we will be able to. Number one. Number two, if you ask me, ideally, we should not invest in on-site IT infrastructure development at these days, because the computing space is available, the most advanced computing space with adequate what is called security, infosec facilities is available in clouds. So, and the cloud is now, the cost of cloud is also coming down day by day, right? So at this moment, you need to take a little space from the cloud, and you need to catch hold of a couple of people who are in line with in sync with you for implementing these things, and a very seasoned team, what is called a very high, like-minded team, even if it is 3-4 people, I think it is not something which is not achievable. It can be very well achieved, but you need to have a very interesting plan, what is called an architecture and a plan as to how we can do these things. So one of the challenges what we will have in the beginning is with respect to catching hold of the commercial metadata, commercial content metadata, right? So unless you have some kind of understanding about the capturing of this metadata, interestingly, publishers are now opening up their metadata. There is no doubt about that. And a vast amount of open access content is available, through various domains. I think librarians' job is to find out from those pockets. For example, in the field of medicine, you have a vast amount of content available in the public domain or the open access domain. So you have to put together. Our role is to actually bring together those metadata and put it together, experiment it, and then put it through, such interesting, maybe WooFind, maybe Blacklight, and then work on integrating these things. Folio, of course, it is open source, but at the as you very rightly told, it's not an easy task. It's a very mammoth task. There's no doubt about that. Understanding this folio itself took actually more than a month for me. Because we were caught in the Xylo world, the module based. So from module, you have to migrate to a kind of what is called a LSP platform, which is thinking much above, much higher level than Xylo based, module based system. So I think a proper, symphony of these things, like the IT professional, the information professional, the management. The management will have to support us generously. Then only we'll be able to do all these things.
Thank you very much,
The librarian of the 21st century has to be IT savvy. There is no doubt about it. He has to know the domain of knowledge, the domain of academics, the domain of scholarly communication. He has to be updated with the technology. What is he doesn't have to be a specialist in coding. To be very frank, I am not involved in any of the administration of the library systems because I cannot do that. I cannot spend much time on that. My colleagues are quite supportive. I am proud of my colleagues. Where I was in IIMK or in ICMR or in Geo Institute, I'm always proud of my colleagues because my colleagues are my strength, my foot soldiers. I'm very happy to work with them.
Thank you so very much. And we have been, really delighted and happy to have you with us. And, you have really shared the vast wisdom of yours, on this platform today. And much grateful to you, Dr. Sri. Before we make the floor open for questions, this is a small memento coming your way, from Delhi. And we're going to send it across. And we really look forward to having many more, collaborative programs in the days to come. With great sense of gratitude and thanks to you for always being so supportive and always ready enough to share your vast experience. And we remain much grateful. We remain much grateful to you, Dr. Sri. Thank you so very much indeed. It has been always a pleasure.
Almost 2.5 decades ago, and it has been progressing.
It's more than 2 decades, 2.5 decades association. It's always such a great honor and pleasure to have you with us. Yes. With your permission now, we would like to make the floor open for questions. We have right now 624 attendees who are there with us on this platform and requesting, in order to ensure that we are able to have many questions on the floor, requesting our professional colleagues that if you can either you can raise your hand or you're most welcome to even post your question in the chat box and we will be very happy to take the questions. I'm just going through the entire list and to see. So please raise your digital hand if you may like to ask a question through the audio. We'll be happy to give you an audio control. And we have Dr. Thangavel V. Dr. Thangavel V, you have raised your digital hand. We are connected, Dr. Thangavel. Dr. Thangavel V, we are connected, right? Your question? I think mistakenly, it seems that he has raised the hand. We could see that there are a few questions which are there in the chat box. Let me just quickly go through. Firstly, in the audio, those who are wanting to ask the question in the audio, and then we will take the questions which are posted in the chat box. Please, in case we can see, we have Kritika Jain. Kritika, you have raised your digital hand. I have given you an audio control. This is for you, Kritika Jain. Kritika, could you please unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Kritika.
Am I
Yeah,
audible?
please kindly. Yeah, you are audible. Kindly introduce yourself, Kritika, and you may ask a question to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Sreekumar.
Okay. I'm Kritika Jain from Central University of Gujarat. I'm a library science masters of library science student. So, as a research student, I was eager to ask: is the Folio platform is open source? Because it is mentioned that it is open source, but we can't operate or we can't install it or use it as a platform for our research or for our project purpose. We have to explore. As I want to explore, but I can't do that. So if you can explore.
Yeah. I
Thank you,
think I have
Kritika,
made it very
firstly for
clear.
being there, please.
I have made it very clear. Folio is actually a fully open source platform. It is, it's a project taken by a group, the Folio Federation. It is actually an offshoot of OLE, Quali OLE, Open Library Environment. So the Quali
Yes.
OLE is actually a project library discovery or a library integrated library science service platform, ILS platform, and then LSP platform, which is existing, which has been existing. But they wanted to upgrade the entire system with the new age technology, marrying with the new age technology. So index data came up with interesting what is called the technology support for EBSCO came with funding support. A lot of universities started sharing their expectations from a software of this sort. So that is how Folio came into, now you just go to folio.org or wiki.folio.org.
Yes.
And then, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Sri.
So you can visit the Open Library Foundation on what is called the YouTube. So there are various avenues from where you can get. You can download the entire, the code from GitHub. So it is possible for you to, install at your level and you can experiment. Only thing is, as library professionals, we may not be, we may be facing a lot of challenges in installing it all by ourselves. So I will request you to, take the help of some IT professionals and have a dialogue with them and have them go through all these resources and then a little bit of documentations, and then we can very well do that.
Sure.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Thank you, Kritika.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. I just want to ask you, Dr. Sri, this is in continuation to what Kritika has asked, because EBSCO is providing some kind of a support for Folio.
Yeah.
Can you just throw some light? What kind of a support? Because general perception, what Kritika has said, that's the general perception that Folio doesn't fall as an open source. Yeah. So, and because EBSCO is promoting it, and then they are more like means. Can you just help us knowing that what is the role of EBSCO coming into in Folio?
See, what EBSCO has done was EBSCO has funded this project, generously funded this project, and then EBSCO said anybody who would like to take advantage of the software, it is absolutely available in the open domain. They can download it, they can install it, they can customize it, they can configure it, they can use it. But as a information provider, information support provider, information service provider, they said, okay, we also have a solution, what is called EBSCO Folio. The same thing, what only available this thing, but they will extend help. For example, in India also, so many institutions of so many corporates or so many service providers are there for helping with Koha, helping with any other software other than the commercial software. So so for example, DSpace, for example, ePrints. So these kinds of applications, there are commercial entities who are helping them achieve, install these things, and for which they do a charge. So EBSCO, what they are doing is, of course, this is a service-based, charge-based service. They charge according to whatever they feel, according to the quantum or the magnitude of the resources you have, the kind of extent of functionalities that you want to have in your system, etc. They charge. So it is a chargeable, service that is coming from EBSCO. So, but then anybody can do that. I mean, this is available for Linux also.
Exactly, one can integrate that. Yes.
It is there.
Thank you very much for this clarity. Yes, thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
We have Dr. Mantha Raghu from Hyderabad, who may like to ask a question. Dr. Raghu, could you please just introduce yourself? We have been knowing you, but if you can just introduce yourself to our distinguished speaker and just ask your question then. It's over to you, Dr. Raghu.
Yeah, good evening, both of you, Sreekumar sir and Sangeeta ma'am. Very good evening.
Hi.
I am Raghu sir, working as librarian in Vignan Jyoti Institute of Management, Hyderabad sir.
Yeah.
Well, my question is the recent transformation that is happening in this IT sir. Will be the game, Chat GPT will be the game changer for both the librarians and as well as for the users?
We have to wait and see. See what is Chat GPT? It is actually a AI hand which is taking the data from various openly available domains, and then it is synthesizing, digesting, and it is giving you an answer, right? So you have to see its answer will be depending on the amount of information it is getting from the public domain, and it can be mostly factual, and it can be at times misleading. So you can't take anything for granted. What it does is actually it uses a little bit of intelligent agents or intelligent algorithms, and it computes, and it brings to you something which is digested, and you can take it as much better than what Google gives at the moment. So the AI algorithms are very meticulously configured in ChatGPT. But that is these things can improve. I think ChatGPT has to improve a lot. But ChatGPT is a very interesting, welcome addition to the world of what is called information search and knowledge search and kind of thing. For example, if you are asking an email to be prepared, it will definitely write an email for you. To a large extent, it may be contextually relevant, but certainly can be sometimes misleading also. So you can't completely rely on that. You have to go through it carefully, evaluate it, and then take it or reject it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
But I can tell you, ChatGPT will not be able to take any content from commercial domain which is not accessible to them from the public domain, right?
Yeah.
So it is like a plagiarism software, like an open source plagiarism software versus a commercial plagiarism software, or a similarity checking software. That's what it is.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sri. Thank you, Dr. Raghu. It's really nice that you have been able to join us today. We'll just quickly now move. We have already taken much of time of our esteemed speaker. We will just try. We would like to now go to Mr. Thank you so very much for always being so accommodative, Dr. Sri. We would like to now go to Mr. Nilay Vachnik. This is for Nilay Vachnik. Nilay, yes, we are connected. Nilay, you can ask your question.
Professor Nilay.
Professor Nilay Vachnik. Yes, I'm extremely sorry.
Yes. I'm Dr. Nilay Vachnik from Geo Institute. I'm a very dear colleague of Dr. Sreekumar sir. And firstly, sir, thank you very much, Dr. Sreekumar sir, for your excellent talk. I learned so much today as a user of libraries. Thank you so much.
You're not a normal user, sir. You are a former vice chancellor, you are a former dean, and now you are the director.
That's indeed a profound privilege. Profound privilege for us.
Thank you.
Yashnikji, thank you so very much for joining. You have really made this afternoon a very special one, and you have been very gracious and kind in being there. Yes, indeed, an honor and pleasure. that you could take
you.
out time and being there with
I
me.
have
Thank you so much indeed.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir, yes.
I have one question. See, this entire now that this technology is getting so pervasive and
Yes,
open also in nature, you know, earlier large corporate big companies, only they could afford such large libraries, you know, and using. Today, do you see a situation where such kind of technologies which are available in open source, whether it is Folio or other technologies you mentioned, would even smaller organizations be able to have very good, library and knowledge management usage by their employees?
yes, sir, yes, sir. Very good question. Yeah. Can I attempt an answer?
No, no, sir, you are the guru, sir.
Yeah, actually, as I was mentioning, now, you know, the reliability of open source software is much better than commercial software in many aspects, because, you know, it is a community, it's crowdsourcing, so many minds are putting together their brains, and so many people are putting together their brains, and the end result is always much better than a corporate, you know, developing. Of course, when a internationally renowned corporate or an MNC working on a software, they will have a huge fleet of programmers working. They will be passing through several iterations and you know, rounds, and they will be rolling out at a you know, exorbitantly high cost. Whereas if you want to master a open source software, you will have to be a very good, you know, you have to be updated that much in the, if you want to be at the forefront of software applications. Now, coming to your question, at a time when the cost of information is skyrocketing or going very high, and our budgets are you know, shrinking every year, is it possible for an academic institution to build a meaningful, reliable, or a good library? Of course, the print library, building up a print library or a conventional traditional hard copy library is not easy. A physical library is not easy, because you have to invest money, and then you invest but let me tell you, if you are really, you know, serious enough, you know, sincere enough, you can build a very interesting library, digital information space, or a digital library in almost any field, because a lot of information, a vast variety of content is available in the open access domain, which is peer reviewed and which is open, which is available free. So, but the librarian, or the people working in the information domain, as well as people working in the IT domain of these institutions, will have to work together, to put together, to bring together, curate the information, and then put it together into these kinds of you know, information systems, which is able to provide a meaningful interface and a user experience. It is not a very difficult proposition, because the world of open access is now actually opening up interesting avenues. For example, now almost every leading university in the world is working on transformative agreements. Transformative agreements are actually, they are trying to bring in the commercial journals into open access journals for the time that they are subscribing to, they are willing to pump in money. So these world-class universities, there are actually different school of thoughts in open access also. But I will tell you, most of the leading universities in the world are now embracing open access unprecedentedly. So if the trend goes like this, within about 5 to 10 years, at least a critical mass of knowledge will be available in the open access. I can assure you, 25 to 30 to 40% of the knowledge will be available in the open access. So the world forums are now seriously pondering, discussing on making you know, the scholarly content almost to a sizable, degree, open access by 2025, by 2026 at least. So I think Dr. Sangeeta can throw more light on this. What do you think, Dr. Sangeeta?
No, definitely. We strongly feel there has to be, means open source is undoubtedly, the entire world is moving towards it. But institutions like GEO, institutions including the networks and others, they also have to play a very crucial role in bringing that. We need to still keep on playing that role of being, offering those SDI services. Also, we have to cover this entire domain, and we need to keep on playing that role what we have been. Our roles of the library professionals are, I think, it's being needed to play that role of filtering that information, because there's not much of information which is getting published. Users are not knowing, still they are struggling, but they just feel that whatsoever is available, they can do that. So the professionals have to play. The library professionals are needed than ever before to filter out, to validate the information. And there are now even search engines coming in where it has to be endorsed by a librarian, saying that yes, the librarian is endorsing that it's fit enough, for a user to consume that particular and to use that particular information, because research can go to any direction just simply because of one, unauthentic information. So professionals have to keep on playing, and I drive the technology that we wanted, rather than being driven away by the technology. So the library professionals have to keep on driving and using the technology to the best of, they should be the one who should conceptualize it. Now we have these user experiences, you have today spoken about it. We have the departments which are now getting open in the biggest large universities of the world. So we need to keep an always close attention to our users, their behaviors, what they are doing, and then tailoring our information as per the needs. So technology should always be used more as a vehicle rather than just simply vehicle for moving to that particular direction or reaching to our destination, rather than using technology as a destination in itself. No. So we professionals have to use it more just simply as a vehicle to get into it, drive your way, and take your users where you want. So that's what I feel, Dr. Sri.
Yeah, absolutely, that's what it is. And I think it gives us a lot of euphoria. And also, the days are actually coming. I mean, it's all about open, standards, technologies, open access. Not everyone is looking for money, actually. See, after all, I think Professor Nilesh, knowledge is a public good. You can't lock it up and keep it.
Absolutely, sir. In fact, what I was from your excellent explanation, and what Dr. Sangeeta also mentioned just now, the library professionals will be even more required. It's a very strategic position now. It will become very strategic and will continue to be so, because we are living in that knowledge economy and knowledge era. And as I see, even smaller companies, medium-sized companies, will have access to such open access libraries, and therefore they'll be able to introduce a learning culture. Even in a company, a business company, they should be able to introduce a learning culture like an academic institution. So that's the way I see things moving forward. And I thank you very much.
You're absolutely
Thank you
right.
so very much. Thank you so much, Dr. Nilay Yashunji. It has been a truly great honor that you have been able to be there with us. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, sir.
We would like to now move ahead to our, we have Mr. Pulleri Venkata Suresh, who may like to ask a question. This is for Mr. Pulleri Venkata Suresh. Could you please unmute yourself? I have unmuted you from this end. We would just like to quickly now go through, because we could see there are a couple of questions which are there in the chat box, and once we are through with those who are wanting, Mr. Praveen Kumar MB, this is Praveen Kumar RV. Mr. Praveen Kumar RV, could you please unmute yourself and ask your question? You have raised your digital hand. This is for Mr. Praveen Kumar RV. Because of paucity of time, I can request you for once. because there are so many others which are waiting to ask and to get connected. This is for Sadasivan KP. Mr. Sadasivan KP, could you please unmute yourself? I would once again be requesting. Yes, we are connected.
Yes, please.
Yes. Introduce yourself and ask your question.
Yeah. It was indeed a splendid depiction of the information system, present and futuristic, confined to a major institute, GEO, which Dr. Sreekumar is now heading. Now, I observe from this a presentation of the changes happening in the range and variety of sources, the tools and techniques, diversified tools and techniques, and difference in the academic research establishments where the user communities requirements are varying. The institutional information framework, of course, that is the crux of the issue that he has been mentioning about. But I was wondering whether, by looking at several changes happening, be it in the resources or in the user needs, or even the tools and techniques, or the kind of changes happening in the publishers field versus the open access, open source documents and like that. I was wondering how a simplified universal version of content management can be achieved, transgressing the rigidity of the framework of libraries and their users. Could you please give some light on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So first of all, let me thank you, sir. You are my first mentor. I started my career under you 40 years ago. And I am really, thankful to you for, training me at CSIR way back right from 1981 onwards. So Sri KP Sadasivan is the head of, was the head of CSIR lab library at Trivandrum. He's a doyen in the field. So his question is that in this kind of a very complex domain, is it possible for librarians to grapple with the kind of technologies and configure such digital library systems all by themselves? Am I right in understanding your question, sir?
Just allow us a minute, because just allow me a minute.
Please, please.
Because
let us understand the question clearly, because sir was explaining the
for the content management. Yeah, just allow. Yes. This is for you, Dr. Sadasivanji. Could you please try to clarify once again?
I was trying to unmute. Well, not exactly so. I'm not just confining to the rigidity of the library professionals. They have to change, they have to grow, they have to integrate with other kinds of professions and equip themselves to as a teamwork. As for example, as I understand, the Geo University Library is not just the library professionals contribution alone, it's an integrated, it's a combined teamwork of different experts, including the IT profession.
Yes.
So
yes.
that kind of culture that you have to imbibe. So what I'm trying to say is, by looking at the change of the variety of changes happening, how is it possible to dream of a kind of an information system integrated, uniform, universalized to pick and choose depending upon one's use requirement in the information domain, from the information domain? How the kind of system can be planned, designed, and developed? So, if I am wrong, then
I got it. I mean, see, we have to see, we are still caught in the kind of baggages what we have been following for decades together, years together, and that will have a kind of effect on our thought process also. What you are telling is, it is like if you want to have these things achieved, these kinds of genres of functional information units will have to be managed using these kinds of softwares. But this can be done or achieved with the help of a SaaS environment, right, sir? So you can have the entire service as a, software service, as a platform. So then you don't have to worry about any of these things, irrespective of whether they are coming from different genres or different buckets. You will be in a position to channel that information into the user community without having any burden or any trouble, hassle free, absolutely. But that kind of a system, I hope it may emerge in future, because the slogan goes like interfaces will definitely emerge to cope with the complexity. That is what information science is all about. That is what we have seen with the advent of IT and marrying with information science or information. And so IT has got information, integrated into it. It's information and technology. So it can be a distant dream, but at the moment, I think these are the only ways in which I can see our wheeler to depend so much on AI systems and such advanced algorithms, which will be able to cut through these kinds of silos. And I think Dr. Sangeeta also can throw some light.
Thank you.
So, but thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sri, and thank you so much for a very exhaustive reply on this. Thank you very much. We could see that we have one of our attendee here, Mr. Vipul Sharma may like to. This is for you, Mr. Vipul Sharma. Could you please quickly unmute yourself and ask your question? This is for you, Mr. Vipul Sharma. Vipul, requesting you, please unmute yourself. And I'm extremely sorry, I am compelled to mute you now because I gave you the control, but I believe you were not, you couldn't do that. Let me now quickly come to the chat box. So we are through with those who are wanting to ask a question in the audio, and now comes a question. And this is also an observation complimenting you. This is from Dr. Nihar K. Patra, who has apologized. He has got a sore throat. So Nihar, firstly, would like to wish you a very speedy recovery, and you should be all full back, and this is a Dr. Nihar K. Patra, serving as a librarian at ISER, Odisha. And firstly, he's wanting to compliment you for a very wonderful, excellent presentation. This is for you, Dr. Sri. And now comes a question. And the question is, sir, that it has been noticed that many professionals, they speak on automation, digitization, e-library, RDM, literature, retrieval, research and reference, discovery, not much, openness, some AI-enabled libraries. But what next? For next is in a capital letter, coming for the coming 10 years in a real sense that would improvise the image of library professionals in front of their authorities. So if you may just kindly like to say something.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Dr. Nihar. And as Dr. Sangeeta was mentioning, wishing you a speedy recovery. Actually, even though we are talking so much technology, so much of advancements and achievements, etc., still some of our libraries don't even have a decent, library catalog, and that's able to be shown to the user community. So I think most important aspect is to meticulously integrate the various silos. Okay. So that if you want to upgrade your systems to any kind of systems, basically what you need is actually the digital information. I was mentioning, it is a dire need for us to now digitally transform our libraries. So if that is there, you can upgrade your systems to any level, be it AI or ML or deep learning, whatever it is. But basic requirements are very important. See, the basic requirement includes for each of your systems, each of your genre of information system, the metadata matter. The metadata is the most important building blocks of our libraries. And that, when I say metadata, it has to be rich metadata. It has to have a very descriptive, at the very descriptive level it should go. And so that, and also it should follow certain international standards so that it can be transported. It can be crosswalked. Otherwise, what will happen is it will be able to stand only as islands. It will never be able to participate in the networked environment. So basic things, if you have, you name any technology which is coming in future, you will be able to migrate or upgrade. So I think that is the most important thing. 10 years down the line, nobody can predict as to how the entire landscape of information retrieval systems will go. At the moment, I told you in the beginning itself, I am not covering any other topics other than the cross domain discovery services. So the cross domain discovery services embracing even the GLAM institutions is very, very important, because we are all cultural heritage institutions, and we have something or the other to, as I was mentioning, the trinity of cataloging is very important. So that relationships between the biblio references with the cultural references can be the value addition that we can provide.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sri.
Let us be ready at the moment. Let us be ready at the moment with whatever is possible by us. Let any technology come so that we can embrace the technology at that appropriate time.
That's a great spirit, yes, and that each one of us has to hold, and you're inspiring each one of us to do that. Thank you so very much, Dr. Sri. Here comes another question for you. This is from Dr. Maniyakkam Kuppuswamy, who wants to, firstly, yes, all great admiration for you for a wonderful speech. And now the question from him is, sir, in your view, he is more hinting towards how to bring in this change in the LIS curriculums, because of the mismatch which is happening, that what is being expected and what is being taught, there is a huge gap happening. How do you really want, this major issue to get addressed in your view, Dr. Sri?
Yeah, again, this is a very billion-dollar question, actually, I have discussed this matter with a lot of teachers. But those who want to keep pace with the trends, they are already there. I have shown you 3 papers. One which came from IIM Kozhikode 2005. The other one which came from Marshall Breeding in many publications. And I was just showing you just 3 pieces. How people think sitting in different corners of the world, almost thinking similar lines. Because it is time for us to integrate all these distributed, scattered silos into meaningful, rich user experience to the users. Okay, so your question as to how our library schools will have to, equip and impact the industry or the market-related or market-required courses. I think it is their call. I mean, that we have limited control. I mean, they have their own reasons why they are not in a position to offer certain programs or courses which are the market requirements. What I understand is that they are governed by some regulatory agencies like the UGC or whatever, and they have to have their own, compliances. So maybe that is something which is preventing or, not being able to implement or upgrade or update courses. But at the same time, this particular paper, which has come from Professor Parthasarathi Mukhopadhyay, he is playing around with. We have excellent examples. Teachers becoming, experts in information technology, information science and technology. It is nothing but information science and technology. Professor Parthasarathi Mukhopadhyay, Professor A.R.D. Prasad, just a couple of people who have been teaching as well as experimenting with these things and then being able to produce excellent results. And, he went on to become the governing board member of DSpace. I mean, Professor Prasad. Professor Parthasarathi is talking about the excellent GLAM, unified information or discovery systems. And he, in that paper, they are discovering, I just brought you only one small piece about the libraries and its what is called bibliocultural information space. He was talking about how other experiments can be done with galleries or museum objects and like that. So I think Yeah, it all depends on how we want to keep ourselves updated. And nobody, Dr. Sangeeta was whatever she is practicing now, she has not learned from the school. What you are doing in your library, most of the things you must have picked up from your journey to in the profession. What I am doing was not there in those days. I mean, you can't blame any school for that matter, but at the same time, this cannot be a blanket what is called excuse for not being updated.
Yes.
No, it is a requirement. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sri. Last time, because one of our attendee here, he's desperately wanting to speak to you. This is Praveen Kumar RV, because I tried unmuting him and I did that, but he wrote me back saying that, ma'am, I have not been able to speak to sir. So this is, yes, we are connected right now. Once again, Mr. Praveen Kumar RV, floor is yours. Please kindly ask your question as quickly as you can. Over to you.
Good evening, sir. This is Praveen Kumar speaking from Presidency PU College, Bangalore. Sir. We have a university also, Presidency University.
Very good.
Sir, I have worked past. I'm a library professional. Past working from 15 years, sir.
Okay.
I have worked in many technology colleges, engineering colleges under the VT University, sir.
Okay.
I know very well a little e-resources, digital library, but I'm getting difficulty to implement digital library in our PUC colleges, sir. We have a science and commerce course. So can you guide me, sir, which is the best way to go to the implement digital library in our institute? Because as per management and principal requirement to the implementation of digital library. So please, can you guide me to the way to the implement to the digital library access for our PUC level students, sir?
Okay, what is the kind of resources what you have? What's the kind of print
Sir,
collection you have?
yeah, sir. Sir, we need student for access the NEET for JEE, NEET for medical
Okay,
entrance examination, JEE.
fine. What is the library management software you have?
So we have EduNext, sir. This is a campus software. They given in that library management. EduNext, sir. EDUNEXT.
Okay, so your record format is complying with the MARC?
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir.
If you are already having MARC records, then I think it is easy for you to work on that level, or you may have to think of introducing Koha kind of thing if you want to, or if you can manage, I will recommend you to experiment with the folio. So this is one aspect. That is to take care of your traditional library along with the e-resource management. Folio will take care. Maybe to some extent, Koha also will be in a position to take care of that. But the campus management system, a small module on library management, may not be able to meet all your advanced requirements.
Yes, sir.
So that limitations you have to understand. And if you want to really work on institutional repositories, DSpace is a good option. If you want to work on Greenstone, you can work with ebooks. You can meticulously configure, customize, and run services. And these are all web-based services. And or if you want to work with the WooFind, you can integrate all these things with a very interesting discovery platform, which will connect all these DSpace, Greenstone, Koha, or anything of that sort. Because your systems will have to follow certain standards and formats. Then only you will be in a position to connect these systems into a discovery platform. Because this I was telling you, the psyche, the behavior pattern, I mean the behavior nature of the new generation. You are talking your students are so teenage students or young students, and their retention level, their expectation, their attention span, it's very, very short. You have to then make a very meaningful presence. Otherwise, they will not be attending or paying any attention to the library systems. So you have to upgrade your systems. You have to automate. You have to digitize. You have to bring such technologies, and then you use a very interesting cross discovery, service platform, so that they have to use only one, single search box to get all this information effectively. So it is not an impossibility, but it comes with a lot of inputs. So you have to think about that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Mr.
sir.
Praveen. Yeah. And thank you, Dr. Sri. I would just
Thank
like
you,
to
madam. Thank you very much.
inform to you, Mr. Praveen Kumarji, that DELNET does offer a support for DSpace installation. We do charge from our member institution a nominal amount of 15,000, one-time installation that we do on Linux, and we do help you. Also would like to inform, and that's to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Sreekumar ji, that we are developing, and we have almost, it's just going to get launched in yet another maximum 3 months time. We are just starting off with our beta version testing of that, inviting our member libraries to participate in that. And that is creating a portal called as a Desire portal. We have already done, it's fairly now, it's just simply in the deployment stage now. We're in creating an institutional repositories for our member institutions. So it's creating a cloud. It's a DELNET cloud for IR, wherein they will be having two interfaces. One interface will be for an individual institution, as Mr. Praveen said, that they want to have for their PU colleges. So they can upload their content. They will have their own institutional repository, institutional memory, and they can just, with that particular link, they will be able to see that. If they want to see the network version of it, wherein all the resources of all the libraries coming together, they can opt for the other one, So both the versions will be available to institutions. Already we have, the platform is ready, the portal is ready, and we are just sending across a letter to all the institutions, requesting some of them who would like to come forward and do this beta testing, using that version, and then we are going to fully. So this is for you, Dr. Sri, was wanting to convey.
Very exciting, very exciting. Thank you so much for this particular thing. These are the things that we can empower our institutions, because they may not be having the kind of, what is called manpower.
Infrastructure, manpower, exactly. Not many, and also sustainability is a major issue that we always find.
This is very nominal an amount. Anybody can, any institution will be able to afford, and so affordability, accessibility, and availability. So these are the three A's which are required for information. As you said, sustainability part of it, and it's very. I really appreciate it so much.
Thank you so very much. I would just like to mention, it's nearly 2 hours since our distinguished speaker is there with us, and we have really kept him in this. He has kept us in this, in a very engrossing session that we had witnessed, all because his enlightening address today, very empowering one, truly an inspiring one, an innovative one. It was not just simply he spoke about, Dr. Sreekumar has spoken about the innovative technologies. He is an innovative. He is, he has always have, seen much ahead of the times. He has seen that kind of a work that he has been doing with GSDL, Greenstone Digital Libraries, and no one had heard about it, and he was just doing it, and that to doing it so selflessly, that's one of the most inherent quality that not many of the professionals you have been inspiring everyone, and may you continue to inspire the professionals to move ahead, with not much of innovativeness, uniqueness, and a sense of contributing to the profession, contributing to the society. We remain truly, truly grateful to you, Dr. Sri, and let me have this opportunity to also thank you for stupendous support that you have been offering to us beyond any expression, I can't really thank you. We cannot forget about the times, when we were just simply in that small little cubicle at ISC, and you have been helping us out, from those times. Much remain grateful, wishing you and the entire Geo team, for the incredible efforts that you're putting in order to ensure that the society at large gets, benefited, from the technology, bringing everything together. And DELNET remains, committed, to always be of any assistance whatsoever you feel, in this venture in this mission of transforming the lives of the people around. So it has been a great honor and pleasure in having you with us this evening. We would like to thank all our, very distinguished attendees here that we have been able to have them today. Each one of you who have really made the session truly engaging session with your very active participation. We remain grateful to each one of you for your time and efforts in being there, and it's all because of you that we have been able to conduct the session in such a very meaningful and in a highly interactive way. Thank you so very much, each one of you. We had truly being much grateful to our distinguished speaker, Dr. M.G. Sreekumar ji. It seems that we are again but it's towards the end of the session. I think still we have been able to get a little issue with the technical, but has been a pleasure for DELNET to have organized this webinar session. Quickly would like to just mention that the entire recording of this session will be made available on the YouTube channel of DELNET, the web view. So we request each one of you, please do subscribe to the channel so that as and when we upload any of the new recording, you would be notified about it. So the entire deliberations of today's webinar session will be uploaded by tomorrow morning, and you can go to the web view, and those of you who are from the member institutions of DELNET, from a discovery portal, we do have a link for the YouTube channel of DELNET. You can very much view that. Otherwise, for others, you are most welcome. You subscribe to the web view on channel of DELNET, and wherein the entire recordings of all our past webinars also they are being available, including our major big conferences like NACLINS, and you can get immensely benefited out of that. Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's nice to see you. Yes, we know it will never happen. We won't let it. It's a timeless connection, Sri, and nothing can, no technology can come into, no, it's,
today we have little unstable connection. So anyway, I'm very happy that I got this opportunity. What I was mentioning in my earlier, slide, that the Geo Institute has got a very interesting commitment to the nation. Our founding chairman and chairperson, they said that, at some point in time, we will be in a position to reach out to the remotest user in the country and also to reach out to the entire landscape, educational landscape of the country with whatever information that we can provide. So that is actually a very interesting overarching goal. Or you're not audible? You can't hear me? Hello?
Yes, now it is back. Perfect.
No, it is. So what I'm saying is our institute, our founding, chairperson and chairman, they have a very overarching, what is called ambitious plan that the content what is created at a Geo Institute Digital Library will be made available to the entire country, entire educational landscape, the remotest user in the country. So I think that way, this is a very interesting ambitious plan or goal. So let's see how best we will be in a position to work on that. So thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Sangeeta, and I would like to thank all the participants for their patient listening and staying with me.
Everyone has got immensely benefited, not many takeaways, all because
just sharing what we have seen. I don't know whether this is the right thing, but this is what we are seeing, and this is what is being documented by people. What is called they are they have long-standing stake in the profession, like Professor Parthasarathi or Dr. Marshall Breeding, and so many others. They are all going the same way, and you can see the industry is also coming up with the. But one problem what we have seen in the field of libraries is that the integrated library systems, the ILS has stayed back in this, kind of a not so much progressing, maybe for more than 2 decades or maybe for about 3 decades, and then slowly started working towards the changes, because we were quite contented with whatever we were talking about, But I think it was time for us to came out of that, and think out of the box and think how others are. Otherwise, we will lose our. Already, we lost so many buses, so we cannot miss any more bus.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sri, for even concluding the session on a very highly encouraging note. Thank you so very much indeed. And we would also like to thank each one of our attendees for being there with us. And quickly would like to mention that within 1 hour, that's by 6 o'clock, you can expect a certificate coming your way into your mailboxes, certificates of appreciation for being there this afternoon, and also being there as one of a very, very active, participant. Because of you, we have been able to witness, a very highly energizing and an energetic, inspiring deliberations this afternoon. We remain much grateful to each one of you. And I would also like to thank my own colleague, Mr. Kushal Giri Goswami, who has been coordinating technically the DELNET webinars. Much thankful to you, Kushal. And we would like to also thank once again, the entire team at GEO. We cannot thank enough Dr. Sreekumar for all his time and efforts in being there and sharing his vast wisdom. We always find no expression to say how grateful, sincere gratitude to you, Dr. Sri. And may God bless you and the way that you are really contributing to the society. It is enormous. May God bless you and you keep on contributing to the profession, to the society, and keep on spreading, this great amount of positivity, and it is indeed always such a great honor and pleasure to have you with us at DELNET, and you are always there. And we remain grateful to you for it. Thank you so very much. And a special thanks to all our coordinators at GEO Institute who have been able to help us out in making it possible that Dr. Sri is there with us this evening. Thank you so very much, one and all. We have truly, greatly admired and appreciated the presence of each one of you. We really look forward to having many more opportunities to get reconnected. Thank you very much. And Dr. Sri, this is with your permission. We would like to upload the deliberations because not many of chat messages was, ma'am, would it be available? So on the DELNET's YouTube channel, that we have. So with your permission, we may like to, upload that, the entire deliberations so that many more, would also get immensely benefited. With that's with you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Satya. Actually, at the same, reciprocal, I would like to reciprocate the same, sentiments from this side. All my colleagues are very, appreciative about DELNET services, and also they are very thankful for this opportunity to showcase GEO Institute Digital Library. Of course, we gave the current trends, what is happening in the domain of the landscape of dissemination of information and knowledge. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so very much.
Wonderful experience working with you.
Yeah. Thank you very much once again. Thank you so much once again, each one of you. May God bless you and stay informed, stay happy, stay always connected, and do stay informed. Thank you very much. Looking forward to welcoming each one of you again. Thank you very much, Dr. Sri. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone at GEO, for this wonderful opportunity to get connected.
Yeah,
and thank you, each one of you. You have immensely contributed. Have a very, very good evening, and may God bless each one of you. And looking forward to having you back again in the next month's monthly webinar program of DELNET in Feb 2023. We all look forward to it, and don't give us a chance to once again have you with us. Thank you very much. God bless you all, and thank you so much indeed. Thank you, Dr. Sri. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
you.
Much grateful.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. Bye.